1 minute into the first deliberation and the Survivor Alliance has already crumbled. Everyone in the house is kissing everyone. The vets, they've put down their swords. A historian favorite has got hit by bad luck yet again. And TJ, oh my gosh, TJ, he has all of the toys this season. It's the Challenge Spies, Lies, and Allies Episode 1 recap coming up right now. What up, my fellow Challenge lovers? Welcome to The Challenge Historian, where we dive deep into all things MTV's The Challenge, past, present, or future. If it's happening in the Challenge universe, then we are here to document it. I am your dedicated Challenge historian, Jacob Hollabaugh. Thank you so very, very much for being here with us today, back in the podcast studio, back on the mic, because we've got a brand new season of The Challenge underway. Let's go! Oh my gosh, what a glorious day it is. A Challenge premiere day, honestly, maybe my favorite day of the year, and this one certainly has been one to remember. Now, as for tonight's podcast, here is the plan. We're going to be breaking down everything we saw, not only from the premiere episode tonight, but also a bit from Monday night's Global Activation Special, which, while they didn't market it as such, was a full-on episode. So if you missed that, you probably were a little confused at the start of tonight's episode with who these people were and why they were already doing a challenge, but we're going to talk about it all, get you caught up on that. So the format we will be using is likely going to be the format these recaps follow all season long, and they go like this. First things first, we will do a quick recap, very quick, cliff notes, if you will, of everything that just happened on the episode so we can get our brains reconfigured back on what we just watched. Then we will dive into the main storyline of the week, discuss it in depth, go through the big story that just happened, followed by some brief notes on a couple of the secondary stories that may be building into the main story in the future. After that, we dissect both the Daily Challenge and the Elimination in detail. This is the fifth major sport. I love the sport aspect of this, so of course we're going to go deep on the athletic portions of the episode. And then finally, we're going to hand out some awards. Best strategy, worst strategy, best quote, best moment, give an MVP award, and we're going to finish it all off with some power rankings and any predictions that I may have going forward. Now, is that a lot to cover? Yes. But before we can dive into all of it for this episode, there is one other house cleaning item I do want to touch on, and that is that the Challenge has really upped their game recently and coming into this season with all the extracurricular content around the show. We've got The Aftermath back, hosted by the wonderful Devin Simone, who please make her the reunion host. Finally, please, please, please. But The Aftermath is back. And this time with a twist. While there's always been some kind of valuable content on it, if you're a super fan, you love watching those shows regardless. But this year, it comes with the added fact that TJ will make an appearance to reveal the votes. The votes that happen on Wednesday night's episode will be revealed on that Aftermath show immediately after. So that's going to be important. Then they've been putting out all of this extra behind the scenes stuff on their social channels, these extra little clips. They've been doing these breaking news segments with Devin that are part ad for the next episode, but also part info dump. So sometimes there's been some stuff in there that you really can't miss. So because of all of that, and because I'm a historian of all of this stuff, I want to make sure it's all covered. And more importantly, I want to make sure you don't have to worry about missing something yourself. Now that all this stuff's coming from all these different places, all these different channels, and some of it's very important that if you miss, you kind of are lost as to what's going on. I know you've got busy lives. I know it's tough to keep up with all of that stuff. That's what I'm here for. That's why I'm a historian. So I am going to cover all of that extracurricular stuff, but I'm going to do so in a super short podcast on Tuesdays. The podcast we record Wednesday night, that'll be out Wednesday night, Thursday morning, right after the episode for you to listen to. That is going to cover just the episode that just aired and ignore the after show, ignore anything else that's starting to come out. Then we're going to wait all the way until the next Tuesday, 24 hours before the next episode, where I will drop a little mini podcast that catches you up on everything noteworthy from, the aftermath or any extra content that's been put out, any little behind the scenes, the goodbyes from the players that lost, all that sort of stuff. We're going to give you a little brief refresher, get you caught up on that extra stuff heading into the next episode. So Wednesday night, full recap. Our goal, about 45 minutes long. The first few are definitely going to be longer. We'll get into a groove. We're going to get there eventually, I promise. But I'm long-winded at this point. So there's a good chance the first few do not hit that 45-minute mark. Tonight's certainly probably won't. But That's the goal. Wednesday night, Thursday morning, the recap of just the episode comes out about 45 minutes long. And then Tuesday evening, 24 hours before the next episode, little micropod, like 5 minutes. We're talking super duper small, short. Get you caught up on any extracurricular stuff that you may have missed and need to know. Sound good? All right, great. I heard everyone out there. It sounds great. Great. Love it. Absolutely love the feedback. Thank you. It sounds good to me too. So that's how we're going to do this. Without further ado, we've done all the house cleaning. Let's dive on in to the premiere episode, The Challenge, Spies, Lies, and Allies, Episode 1. All right, let's start with a brief recap of everything that happened, just so we can get our minds wrapped back around it, and not just of tonight's episode, but also Monday night's Global Activation Special, because again, it was a full-on episode. That should have been episode 1, and this was episode 2. But if you missed it, here you go. This is what happened. Monday night. The Americans arrived, 17 folks, mostly vets, some rookies mixed in cars of 2 or 3 at a time. They arrived to a beautiful challenge house, one of maybe the best ever. We find out Devin has full-on joined Big Brother and Josh and Fessy in an alliance. We see a survivor trio, Tommy, Michelle, and Michaela coming in as rookies together. Everyone gets to the house. They're a little bit confused, but they party anyway. Most of the vets realizing there's a lot of empty beds. More people are coming. Something's going on. This is just twist number 1 from TJ, who then shows up on the screen, tells the Americans, put your drinks down, get your gear on. You're going to your first challenge. They leave the house, and that is when the global agents arrive. Another 17, mostly rookies, some vets. Everyone very confused as to what's going on. Kyle, wonderful Kyle, plays host. He literally sniffs some underwear and says, oh yeah, that's Devin. Explains to everyone, obviously some other folks are here. We're just waiting on them to arrive. That's when a message from TJ comes, explains there are some Americans. They aren't there right now. He leaves them resumes. They study those resumes, and then TJ comes back and tells them, get ready. Your first mission is about to start. And that's where that episode ends. Again, it was a full-on episode, so there you go. That's what happened, and that is why Tuesday night's episode starts immediately with the daily challenge, with their foot on the starting line. Literally, the global agents run out to the beach, and they get to pick their whatever partner they want, unhook those partners, solve a puzzle, win the daily. Anissa and Logan get the win. Ashley and Huey get last place, and TJ, with his first fake out of the season, makes them think for a moment that they're done, that they're off the show, but they're not. They're still there. Everyone finally heads to the house together, and when they do, romance flies. We get 3, 4, 5. I couldn't keep track of how many relationships immediately come up just like that. Everyone meets everyone. They party. They actually party, like real partying for the first time in a while on the challenge. Emmy spies on Survivor's bedroom and sees a list. Michaela then gets called out about that list in deliberation, eventually gets herself and Renan thrown in at the lair, which is what the new elimination round is called this year. At the lair, we find out that the winners of the daily challenge, aka the agency, get to pick not a team to go into elimination, but individuals, one male, one female from any team they want. They choose Corey L. and Michelle to go against Michaela and Renan. Corey L. beasts his way through that elimination, gets his duo the win. Michaela, Renan, they're gone. First people out. Nam is also sadly gone. He kind of wasn't there in the second half of the episode. We're assuming, and the internet tells us, likely a COVID positive test removes him. So in Nam's place, Ed from the Circle comes in at the last moment. He joins them. A bunch of people switch teams, and the episode ends. Whew. All right, so that is what happened on this week's episode, as well as Monday night's episode. That's everything that happened. Let's go ahead now that we've remembered it all and dive on in to the main storyline of the week. So the main storyline of the week is the Survivor Alliance is created and immediately crumbles before our eyes. First episode, Survivor goes down in flames. Now, there's a ton of storylines. It's the premiere episode, all these new people to talk about, all these new things going on. So the next segment, secondary storylines, we'll try to touch on a bunch of different stuff. But this first one, the main thing, the edit of this show, the storyline of this show was the American Survivor trio coming in, Michelle, Tommy, and Michaela, as kind of the rookies that stood out above the rest as far as the vets were considered as thinking about threats in the game, thinking about new alliances. The three of them came in together. Some different veterans and rookies alike wonder out loud, is there going to be a huge Survivor alliance? All the global folks that have played Survivor And it turns out none of them have any interest in an alliance with the American Survivor players. But those three, Michelle, Michaela, and Tommy, are, while hesitant about it, are definitely forming an alliance right off the bat. They're familiar with each other. They played a similar game. And they all come with a pedigree. Tommy won his season of Survivor. Michelle won one season and then got runner-up on another. And Michaela, while not having won, was dominating one season before being blindsided and kicked out midway through, and then came back on Game Changers and proved herself again. So a lot of pedigree with those three. The veterans see that, they know that, and they're a little bit scared, as Tori admits in one of the interviews, at the political and strategic abilities of these good Survivor players. So those three are the early target, and they don't do themselves any favors throughout the entire episode of being that target of the veteran squad, which we'll talk about again in the next storyline, vets sticking together. But the big plot point that happens to kind of kick everything into high gear for the episode is that Emmy, Survivor Romania player, so again, doesn't care about these Survivor American folks, does the first bit of spy work of the season. She catches Michaela and Michelle going upstairs to meet Tommy in one of the bedrooms, follows them up, and catches them with some sort of list. And Emmy claims this list has 3 brackets on it, one of them saying people to trust, people not to trust, and then people to throw into elimination. She lets Anissa know, you're on the throw into elimination list. Tori, you're on the do not trust list. This angers them greatly. They let all the vets know. And eventually, the whole house is talking about this list. It becomes the star, object of the episode, if you will. Michaela finds out everyone's talking about it, so she tries to cover her tracks, which she does a pretty poor job of. First thing she does is goes right up to Anissa and Tori, says, hey, there's a list. The list is of all of the teams. I wrote all the team names down. Let me go get it for you. She comes back down with like a third of a piece of paper, clearly ripped, specific portion of a paper ripped off of the whole sheet, and shows like, hey, look at this little tiny piece of paper that has like 6 team names on it. It's just a list of all the team names. That's how I think. I needed to write everyone out. And they're like, all right, this all seems shady. It feels like you're lying. And even if you're not, like, why do you need to write like 6 teams down on a piece of paper? This is all confusing and whatever. She didn't handle it great. Michelle and Tommy, meanwhile, are like, hey, if I'm not going to call out any of the fellow Survivor players, but like if one of us is going down, we all jump and ship, right? Okay, so they're on the same page. They're about to leave Michaela in the dust, which is what happens. We get to the deliberation room, and Michaela, the only good move she even makes is she knows right away, like, hey, we're coming into this deliberation. I'm on the chopping block. I should speak first, which she does. She again tries to pull off the, look, it was just a list of everyone's name. There was no hard feelings. I'm not targeting anyone. I'm not targeting you, Tori. And it takes all of like 1 minute for her to stop and for Michelle to just come right over the top and say, actually, Michaela's lying. Everyone else is telling the truth. It was a list. It had those things on it. We're not an alliance. I don't have her back. Michelle and Michaela go back and forth. Tori comes in, is like, yo, I'm not targeting anyone. I'm smart enough now as a long-term veteran to not do that. Like, take my name out of your mouth. Don't play like that. Everyone's going at Michaela. And then the final blow, as she continues to try to defend herself, is Tommy also flips instantly. And someone just asked him straight up, like, yo, are you going to say something? What was on the list? And Tommy just comes in with, yeah, the list is exactly what Emmy said. People not to trust, people to trust. And yes, Tori, you were on the don't trust. Anissa, you were on the we were going to throw you in. That's what it was. I wasn't a part of it. I was just in the room. I wasn't, he tries to play I'm not a part of this alliance. I'm trying to tell you guys all the truth. Here you go. Do with it what you will. Throw in Michaela. So they all vote. They pretty much, it all seems like everyone votes for Michaela and Renan. They go in. We get to the elimination. And it ends up being Survivor versus Survivor, rookie versus rookie, with Michelle getting thrown in as well. And not very happy about it. Her and Michaela, ready to go against each other. Eventually, Michaela and Renan get the loss. Corey and Michelle get the win. And Michelle and Tommy both make it clear yet again that the Survivor Alliance, if it even ever existed, it didn't really have time to exist, is done. They're on their own separate paths. They might kind of have each other's back, but there's not enough of them for a full-on alliance. They've separated themselves. They don't want to be those targets, but from the veteran perspective, it seems like regardless of whether they want to think of themselves as alliance, whether they already lost a third of that alliance, they're going to be targets moving forward. So Survivor infiltrating this game in a big way, similar to how Big Brother the last few seasons kind of came in. First with just Josh, then in Paulie and Natalie, and then bringing in Casey, Fessy, and getting a bit more robust lineup of Big Brother players in the house at the same time. And the last season or two, especially last season on Double Agents, the Big Brother Alliance being a big storyline, carrying the season, getting multiple people to the final from that alliance. They're now kind of receding a tiny bit. It still exists, but no longer do we have Devin shouting Big Brother sucks. Instead, he's joining them. But now it's Survivor's turn, as all these other shows are starting to bring in people. We're getting people from all kinds of reality shows all over the place. But the big one is Survivor folks coming in, both Survivor, Romania, Spain, all over the world, but the U.S. Survivor folks as well infiltrating. It kind of feels like the veterans are on the lookout this time around, as to say, instead of, oh, this is cute, and oh, now there's a bunch of them and they're all good and now they're winning the game. Knowing right away, we ain't letting this Survivor thing happen. We're squashing it from the beginning, and those Survivor folks sure did crumble and out each other immediately. So maybe they won't fare as well as the Big Brother Alliance has over the last few seasons. In the seasons to come, we will see. But certainly this season, the Survivor folks need to be on the lookout. They are a target. All right, so that was your main storyline of the week. Let's transition into a couple of the secondary storylines and talk about some of these amazing brand new folks that we've got on our screens. Let's talk some secondary storylines. Again, premiere episode, there's a ton of stuff going on. They're setting up all kinds of little storylines here and there, little small pieces of info that are probably eventually going to be big storylines later on in the season. So this will be a little bit longer of a secondary storyline section than in future episodes probably. First one to discuss is the Veterans Alliance. As far as alliances go in the house, it was made very clear right away. All the vets realize, they look around, they say, hey, there's more rookies than there are vets, and we've got to stick together. That's the best case scenario. A few of them, Tori most notably says, I usually get in trouble for trying to make big moves. I think Corey mentioned in there, kind of me too, or Devin saying, I'm sorry for going after the Big Brother before. They all agree, we got to go after the rookies. We're sticking together. We're the vets, and they have a veterans truce that as long as there's a rookie to vote for, the rookies will be voted for, and not a moment sooner will a veteran be receiving a vote. So some of those teams that are out there that are rookie teams, definitely in hot water, but a lot, most of these vets are paired with a rookie. There's only a few teams that are full vet and vet together. So we'll see how long, those teams might have a super advantage. Kyle and Amanda, comes to mind as someone that, gets the benefit of being a fully veteran alliance. But all the vets, they're sticking together. They're trying to get rookies out first. And with the twist of the winning daily challenge team, the agency, getting to pick individuals and not full team, it's going to make it a lot easier for these vets to actually select just rookies to go into the elimination. Whereas, because they're vet rookie tandems and pairs, if it was team versus team, some vet would have to go in almost every time on on both teams, even two vets at each time. But with that ability, that's definitely a twist that's going to really impact these rookies' fates if the vets can stick together, if they can stick to that truce, which through one episode seems like it's going to be the case, even though they did have some drama within it. We'll touch on in a moment, but it seems like they are going to be, a force to be reckoned with. If they can stick together, they're going to be able to pick off these rookies one by one if they can stay together. So that was a big storyline is, this veterans versus rookies. Very clearly, that's the case in a lot of seasons, but this one, it seems like they're really building it early on as that's the split in the house. That's what it is. And there's enough rookies to make this competitive, and they're good enough to make this competitive, but that's where the split's going to be. Next storyline. We've got a ton of new faces, so let's talk about a few of them. There's some that we'll get to talk about in the daily portion and the elimination portion, some of the awards. So let's talk about a few that may not come up anywhere else on this episode. First off, two of my absolute favorites of the new faces that we've got are Tasha and Esther, both from Nigeria, both from Big Brother Nigeria 4. We talked in our preview posts and podcast about our excitement over these two, what they could bring to the game, and they didn't let us down in the first episode. They both looked awesome in the competition. It was kind of hard in the daily to like really suss out, athletically where these folks stack up. There was kind of short runs, then just kind of standing around looking at some bricks that they were chopping down, but they both looked like they were going to be able to keep up. Esther, especially, looking kind of jacked there. So she's, we'll talk power rankings at the very end, but definitely my expectations for her on the physical side rose even more. They both had great interview moments. They both, in the cocktail hour, were already, while they weren't focuses of the cocktail hour because they weren't a part of any of the kind of romance or alliance talk that was going on, you could see them in the background definitely like already holding court, bringing the outfits, bringing positive energy. So those two, love them so far, and just based off them getting, while they weren't really a part of the main or even really some of the secondary storylines of the episode, they were getting a lot of interview segment time. I think they both got 2 or 3 different interview clips, which on an episode with 34 people, that's a lot of airtime to get when you're not in the storyline. So I think that spells good things both for their future on this season as well as maybe in the show in total. But loved them. Then we also had the Romanian duo of Emmy and Emmanuel, who had played Survivor Romania together a while ago at this point. But while they weren't, talked about in connection to each other, I don't even think it was ever mentioned they were even on the same show or anything. They both made an impact on the first episode. Emmy, as we just talked about, was kind of the one that started off the whole plot of the list and taking down Big Brother. She reveled in her in her ability at the end of the episode. As Michaela leaves, she says, I got a fake person out. Good job, Emmy. So she mentioned early in the episode she loves the drama. She tried to say she's not a drama queen, but she loves drama queen. She loves drama. So she's a drama queen, but she loves stirring it up, which is great for this show. She did a great job as a spy on the first episode, and she brought just a lot of awesome things to the table. So she was amazing, as was her Survivor Romania counterpart, Emmanuel, who, again, while similar to Tatcha and Esther, wasn't really a part of the main storyline or really any of the secondary alliance or romance storylines, kind of the romance, actually. We'll get to that in a second, but was able to get a bunch of interview time. He was the first one out at the Daily Challenge, running out to pick partners, the very first one out there. So showing that foot speed, showing that kind of the seriousness with which he's taking this show and these games. But he was awesome. He was hilarious in the interviews, and we'll just touch on it now. On the romance side, he somehow has already fallen in love with Michelle, although we've never seen, I don't think they ever showed the two of them talk. They just showed Emmanuel in the interview room saying that he falls very easily, and he's already fallen for Michelle. He loves her. He wanted her to stay. So that's great. Love that. He's been awesome. So those 4 really were kind of the standouts of the brand new, global agents coming in for me that kind of weren't really a part of the other storylines, but were already making an impact just with their interviews, just with their presence in the house. So Tatcha, Esther, Emmy, Emmanuel, definitely rising to the top of the brand new rookie rankings as personal favorites go early on. There's a bunch of them, though. We're going to talk eventually about all of them. Berna, Bettina, they both had some fun and funny moments. Huey, definitely, we're going to talk about in a moment on the Daily Challenge, had some good moments. There's a lot of them to talk about. We will eventually get to all of them as we work through all of these episodes. The final, then, the third of the 3 kind of big secondary storylines after the Vet Alliance, all the new faces, was all of the romance. Romance is back in the Challenge house. There hasn't been a lot of it the last few seasons with the COVID protocols, with being stuck in a bunker in Prague or Czech Republic, wherever they were in the bunker on Total Madness. There hasn't been a ton of romance to go around. This season, though, they haven't even gotten into their bathing suits and sat by the pool yet. They just got to the first night, first cocktail party, and romance is in the air. We've got Casey and Nani, who we knew were going to be together. It seems like, they don't make it totally clear whether they like had been an item coming in, or they kind of have these discussions in this first episode of, are we an item? We are. Okay, great. Everyone, all right, we're both happy about that. Awesome. So those two are together. Love to see it. That's an awesome couple. Love watching them, which must be noted. Poor Nani. Poor Nani. Amazing that, she's with Casey. She's got that going, but she gets partnered with Gabo, who she, once they get back to the house, asks, hey, why'd you pick me? And his response is that he thought she was hot. and he clearly kind of likes her and thought, you're hot, you're the hottest one here, and that's what I was looking for in a partner. And she handles it very well, very sweetly. Is like, okay, well, we can be partners, but not available and not interested. Even if I was not really interested, not my guy. So poor Nani potentially having to deal with that all season with her partner, potentially, wanting to be with her romantically and her having zero interest in already being taken and having to put up with that. So great for Nani, the Cole Casey thing. Bummed for Nami that she might have to deal with Gabo. Hopefully she can get him straightened out and focused on the game a little more than her face or partying, as it seems like his main focuses were the first episode. We then get Ashley and Nelson, who we find out Ashley recently moved to Austin, Texas, and lives right down the street from Nelson, which led to the two of them getting together, not boyfriend, girlfriend, but definitely hooking up and definitely, getting real close in this first episode, not afraid to have everyone see them kissing and cuddling and whatnot. My main question with that one is, as eventually we'll talk about, Amanda, Ashley's bestie, not necessarily a big fan of it, a little worried about Ashley getting romantically involved with anyone in the house. But my question for Nelson is, what about Hunter, dude? Like, I thought that Hunter back in the day was, Team Young Buck, like that it was the three of them. It wasn't just Corey and Nelson, but they've kind of, Hunter hasn't been on for a few seasons in a row now. He's kind of went by the wayside, I guess. Either he's not a part of Team Young Buck anymore, or they just don't care that Ashley took $500,000 from him. You can't do that to your boy. If he's your boy, you can't be dating Ashley. So big question there. I don't know if anyone will ever mention it again. Hunter not anywhere to be seen on the season, obviously. So maybe that'd be a great mercenary choice to bring in. I don't think they're going to be able to do any mercenaries because of the COVID restrictions and everything, but that'd be awesome if he did come in and had to go against Nelson. It's like, yo, I thought we were boys. What are you doing with her? But those two are together, as are Ashley's best friend, Amanda, and Nelson's current enemy, Fessy, who both... Amanda claims to not like Fessy, but her decision is that she dislikes him so much and she's so annoyed by him talking that if she just makes out with him, she doesn't have to listen to him talk, which is fabulous. Great deduction there. But Fessy and Amanda immediately go out on their own, have a little makeout sesh, get caught by Corey. Fessy's all about it. He's like, I don't care. That's great. You see what you see. Corey, go for it. Amanda, a little more no one was supposed to see that sort of thing. But Fessy and Amanda together a little bit. Maybe we'll see. There's then a big powwow between those four people. Nelson and Fessy kind of have it out. Like, where do we stand? Nelson still rightfully very, very pissed off about what happened last season. Ashley and Amanda, they're like, this is already awkward, the four of us. You guys don't really like each other. You used to be really good friends. Maybe you could be friends again, but we don't really want you to be. Come on, you did Fessy like that. It's all over the place with those four. And then the other potential romance we've got brewing is Kells and Tori, who immediately become partners. They're, if it wasn't for being separated at the end, would have been tippy top of the power rankings, as we'll talk about at the end of the episode. Kells and Tori, though, hitting it off over a game of pool. Tori mentions that God has done her dirty by, thinking she was going to avoid the guys, focus on the game, and then here comes this beautiful big old man, Kells, as her partner. And so there's a little bit of something brewing there, but again, they are separated as partners, which may make it easier to have the romantic side later on. We will see. And then finally, as mentioned, Emmanuel in love with Michelle. Don't think they've actually spoken a word to each other yet, but he's in love with her. So that's great. So a lot of romance in the air, probably a lot more to come. This season on showed a lot of kissing of people. We couldn't totally tell from the quick glimpses of it, but a lot of romance in the air, a lot of hooking up, a lot of drama because of it. It looks like coming in our future. That's definitely going to be a reoccurring storyline throughout the season. So that's it for the vet storylines. Let's go ahead and dive on in to the sport element. Let's talk Daily Challenge next. Our daily challenge, which opened the episode, which again, apologies to anyone that missed the Monday night, but having watched that Monday night special, first episode, having this episode literally start with, boom, moment one, they're on the start line, we're going into the challenge, we're finding new partners. It was very exciting. It was a very fun way to start, so loved that. Let's just briefly say the actual challenge itself, go out, find a partner, and there's a bunch of bricks in a stack with very obvious numbers and colors and whatever written on the side, but then a chain that goes all the way through all those bricks that you have to smash the bricks, get the chain out, pick up this safe, run the safe over to a little decode, open the safe, run a little gem over to the finish line. All in all, pretty solid daily challenge. Did like it. You're never going to start, with, they're not going to do first challenge trivia or anything like that. So they've gotten better and better over the years at doing these like part physical, part puzzle challenge. I really, really liked this one. I liked the kind of fake out of like, you're going to have to smash all these bricks, but pay attention first. We'll come back to that in a second. So overall, good job, challenge producers. Really fun first challenge in a beautiful setting. It's going to come up a lot this year, but the beach on Croatia where they're at, unbelievable. It is beautiful. Every wide shot, every overhead shot, stunning stuff. So great challenge overall. Now let's talk about what actually happened within that challenge. The first and the most important part of the whole thing didn't really matter, and it mattered a little bit who won, who lost, all that. What mattered was just picking the partners. The daily kind of came second to, there was kind of the first portion of the challenge, which is just, all right, you 17 global agents, you're running out, and when you get out to this beach, which, I don't know, looked like they maybe had to run like 100 yards or so through a little field, not all that far, but enough that they could separate themselves into different, people could get a lead. They run out and they get to pick a partner. Most of these people are rookies. They have no idea who these people are out there. They've just seen these little resumes. Maybe they've watched the show before. A couple of them vets, like the Kyle and the big T's of the group, have an idea of who's out there and who they could be picking. But they get to run out. And that is where the strategy really kicked in, and that was kind of its own challenge, was picking partners. It was like challenge number one, and then once everyone had their partner, there was like the actual daily challenge that followed it. But Emmanuel, showing his stuff early on, gets the lead on Kells, gets the first out on the beach, gets first pick, and very, very smart. Picks Casey. Very brilliant pick. Great job, Emmanuel. Smart. If you're going to get top pick of all those women that were standing out there, Casey's the odds-on favorite. Like that. That's who you got to pick for sure. So he picks Casey. That's very smart. Kells gets out second. He also very smartly goes straight for Tori, yells her name, finds her, picks her. Boom, power team right there off the bat. So first two people out, very smart choices. Kyle gets out there third. And again, actually, we think third. The way they edit this, we have no idea if we're actually seeing these in order of who gets picked, but I'm pretty sure Emmanuel, Kells, Kyle were the first three out. There's kind of a wide shot. We see them in the lead. After that, it kind of becomes a little more confusing who's picking who's actually just left with, like, I guess you're my partner, who maybe picked someone over another person who was actually available. But Kyle is the third, and at first glance, he picks Amanda, and at first glance, I'm like, what are you doing? That was a poor choice. But then at the end, after I thought about it for a second, I'm actually like, it was absolutely his best choice. He wanted a vet, which was smart. He was like, I know, I'm one of the only veterans of all these 17 people running out. I have one of the only spots available to be a vet team. And Tori and Casey were gone. After that, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. So he decided it's either Ashley or Amanda. And he went with Amanda, which I actually think is the right call. So he gets Amanda. Then we get Nam picks Michelle, Josh picks Lauren, Logan picks Anissa, and the Logan picking Anissa was very entertaining. They obviously go on to win this one, but Logan back at the house when they're all looking at the resumes, Kyle kind of jokingly, knowing that Anissa was kind of getting picked on last season, is like, she's the best. She's super vet. She's been here forever. You got to pick her. You got to pick her. And a few people notice his kind of sarcasm about it, but Logan seemed to have actually fallen for it, and then comes out and does finds Anissa, picks her right away. So good choice, by the way. Obviously, they win this daily. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the dailies and eliminations, and it's a long way to that final. So if you would want to switch partners, or if she would want to switch partners before then, great. So great choice. Pick the super vet, pick an all-star, pick Anissa. Good job by him. And then, everyone else kind of picks their teams. The only one really to point out is that Berna picks CT, which is definitely, a team to be reckoned with. And it was hilarious. CT is kind of hiding, poking his head out, seeing who are these people running out here? Do I want to be partners with any of one? And he definitely learned from his mistakes on the last season, the Double Agents, where he turns down Cam, eventually, leaves CT, or leaves Big T. CT leaves Big T for Cam. He had a bit of a struggle with how he went about picking his partner. This time around, very cordial. Berna walks up to him, says hello, how you doing? would you like me as a partner? He says, sure, I don't know. Like, if you want to be, it's your decision, and they're partners. So she gets CT. She gets the big reward, which a bunch of other women get to pick their partners first. And that CT wasn't the first choice of every one of these people is insane. I was really, really, really hoping that Big T would get out there with the opportunity to pick CT, which, again, maybe she did. It's hard to tell by the edit, but it seems like she was one of the last ones to come out. But she got an awesome partner in Tommy, Big T, and as he says, I'll be Little T, which I love. He's a huge, tall guy. So hilarious all around. Love that team. Tasha gets Jeremiah. Everyone gets a partner. They smash the shit out of their bricks, which is the main thing to talk about. It'll come up again on the worst strategy, but somehow there is 15 vets out there. They have done this game a lot of times. CT, Anissa, Tori, Kyle, you guys have done this a lot. Corey, Nelson, all of you guys have done this a lot. And yet, almost without fail, every single team just ignores the numbers and the colors and everything that's going on in the bricks and just says, smash the shit out of it. Let's go. Get this chain out. They all do. And then they, of course, run over to their decoder and realize, shit, I bet those numbers and letters and colors meant something, which, of course, they did. So I couldn't believe that. It was stunning that, especially CT and Anissa. Come on, guys. You've been around a long, long time. Nani, you too, not letting you off the hook, 11th season. How in the world did they not immediately say, stop, don't smash a thing, let's memorize all these numbers? So everyone has to go back. Thankfully, for some teams, they didn't smash stuff as much, or, they're a little more easily able. CT does finally bring that vet knowledge. It's like, all right, Berna, find 3 letters, memorize them. I'll find 3, memorize them. We'll go back, put it in, we'll come back, we'll do it. Very smart about how they do it. Eventually, though, Anissa and Logan are the first to get their chest unlocked, their safe, unlocked. They get their gem, and they run into the finish line. They take first place. Coming right behind them, Renan and Michaela, which, great showing. You eventually are out of the game, though, so that's unfortunate. Tori and Kel showing that strength early, get the third, and Emmanuel and Casey that fourth. So those 2 first choices, choice 1 and choice 2, coming in second and third and fourth, showing their strength right away. And in last place, already showing the mental breakdown, first one early on, Ashley and Huey. Ashley can't stand Huey's voice the whole time. He's talking too much for her. She, they get upset, they get locked out, they end up finishing way in last place. And TJ with his first fake out of the season. We get a cliffhanger going into a commercial break where he says, you're out, and then comes back, and he was kidding. They're not out at all. If it happens again, he says. So, get a fake out. We think they're gone. They're not. Anissa and Logan get their first win. And Anissa, big shout out, 2nd season in a row that she wins the first daily challenge. Stepping up, showing that veteran savvy, showing her abilities, getting that win, getting that power right from the start, taking the reins of the season again. So, awesome start for her for the 2nd season in a row. Awesome showing for Logan. First daily, first win. That's amazing. We get a lot out of it overall. Great first challenge. Really fun. Love that they get to pick their partners. Love that they get to pick their partners based a little bit on athletic ability of, like, you got to run out there. So, there's some, it's not just like pull it out of a hat or, you get to go first. Go ahead and pick anything like that. I like that. All around good first challenge. Now, let's move from the challenge to the other sporting event, the Elimination. It's the first episode. We'll get there. On to the elimination. We end the episode with an elimination between Renan and Michaela and Corey L. and Michelle. And it's a great elimination. It's a very good game. The game itself is one we've seen before. I think we've seen it a few times. The one that's kind of the most notable, it stands out, is on Dirty 30. We saw Hunter and Nelson do a one-on-one version of this game. This one, a 2v2. Everyone strapped to each other's back in a little circle. And on a platform with a ramp on either side, you've got to pull your opponent off the other side. This one, it's a brutal one. This would be super hard to actually do. It's so awkward, especially the one-on-one is one thing. Again, I can't believe I just said this, but the most notable version of this would honestly be the Bananas backpack on Cutthroat. So can't believe I just did that, but we're going to leave it in. Anyways, so we've seen it a few times before. I don't think ever seen a 2v2 version, which makes it all the more awkward, way more limbs and bodies flying around up there trying to pull in each direction, getting caught on top of each other. And in the end, keep it short and sweet, Corey L dominates this. And at some point, I don't want to keep doing Corey W, Corey L. I don't know. I guess you watch the show. If I just say Corey or Corey, you probably know which one I'm talking about. But for the time being, we'll do Corey L and Corey W. So Corey L, rookie, gets his moment to shine in episode 1. Big old guy coming in. We did get all praise to Corey himself, who responded to our Instagram preview post about him to confirm for us he's 6'3", which in the challenge world is might as well be 7'5". He's a giant compared to a lot of these folks. Personal trainer, big old dude, and definitely put himself on the map early as a force to be reckoned with. You know, the Kells and Gabo and, you know, Fessy and CT coming back as vets. We're all kind of getting all the like, look at these big old dudes walking around the house this time, when Coriel let him know at the end, y'all should be focused on me, because he dominated this thing right from the jump. The moment it started, he's able to pull everyone down to his side. They get down to the edge of their side, right on the edge of victory very, very quickly, which then at that moment, depending, you know, they always edit these things. We never know. We're not watching like a full start to stop version of it, but the way they edit it, at least, or what seemed to be, he gets him down there, but he can't quite get him over the edge, at least not right away. Michaela finds her footing, puts up a huge fight from underneath, getting no help from Renan, who gets kind of stuck on top of everyone else, just kind of flailing, can't get his footing. Michelle's grabbing his legs, Corey's grabbing his legs. Michaela's trying to grab Michelle's limbs, not really working, but she holds on for a long, long time, does a great job, puts up an awesome fight. But in the end, Corey is able to get his feet over the edge and use that, pull himself forward, and eventually pull all of them down on top of him, gets the victory for he and Michelle. Now, must be said, I think it might have even been Anissa, which makes me even more upset that it was said, but someone does make the Bananas backpack reference and says Corey's got a backpack, a fanny pack, a waist bag, all this stuff. I get it, you know, and especially I get it actually from Anissa. I get that, you know, you're the one that's going to make these references. You've been there forever. It is a great clip. It is a great soundbite, but let's be honest. Corey, beast, dominated this, but this was no backpack scenario. Please, he did win this not 1 versus 3, but he pulled all 3 people down. Michelle kind of helping, not really, but let's not make the comparisons to the best physical moment in challenge history, shall we? All right, CT's standing right up there. He's seeing this too. So Corey dominates, they get the win, and it's a great first elimination. As for, we should actually just quickly touch on the layer, which is what the elimination round is called this year. We love it. It's beautiful. It's kind of like a Croatian Red Rocks amphitheater almost, with like big rock walls on either side. They've got a huge platform for them all to stand up on and watch. Great seating for them to watch. And all around, love the vibe, love the name. The layer is hilarious and fun and awesome all at the same time. So love all that. That is the elimination. Corey and Michelle get their first wins in their first try in the elimination ring, and Corey definitely stamps his name as someone to be reckoned with in this game, putting that physical prowess on display early. So let's move into our final sections of the podcast. Let's go ahead and talk about some awards. All right, it's awards time. We've got a few of them to hand out. The first 2 are going to be both best strategy and worst strategy, so that we can dive into, you know, who's playing this game in a smart and calculated way and who maybe isn't so much. So let's start on the positive side. Let's start best strategy. 4 nominees for the best strategy this week, and I'm including that Monday night episode because our first nominee is Kyle, who I think the strategy of coming in with all these other rookies, he's a part of the global folks coming into the house. He immediately knows and is smart, plays host, kind of tells everyone how it all works, kind of takes the center of attention, takes the reins. Everyone's kind of looking at him, not in a threatening way, but as a like, all right, this guy will help us out. He makes us feel calm, whatever, he's making us laugh. So him playing host on that first night that they're all there, definitely good strategy by Kyle. Second nominee would be the vets sticking together in the whole veteran alliance. All of them realizing there's more rookies than us, but our best chance is, you know, most of us like each other anyways. Why not just be friends? The vet alliance, good strategy all by them, although obvious strategy, but good strategy all the same. And then third nominee is a tie between Emmanuel and Kells, who very smartly, at least from my point of view, if I was one of the first 2 people out onto that beach getting to pick a female partner, Casey and Tori being the first 2 picks, was very, very good strategy from those two folks. And I'll even throw in Berna for getting CT and getting him, late. In a lot of other guys being chosen first, her knowing and being the only one, I guess, that was smart enough to be like, where's CT? Let's find him hiding over there and get him. So those three all nominated for their choices in partners. And then the fourth nominee and final nominee for the best strategy goes to Devin, who we see at the very end of the episode. At first, it feels like Michelle picks Devin as her new partner, and it feels like, oh, whoa, Devin, like that's a surprise kind of out of nowhere. And then they roll the tape back and they show Devin, as she's scanning the crowd, kind of leans a little back and kind of points to himself a little bit and says quietly, pick me, who, his first partner, Tracy, we don't know almost anything about yet. Haven't got a good vibe on her, but Michelle comes with a pedigree, wins that first elimination, is definitely a female to be reckoned with. So definitely a good choice for Devin to lean back and say, you know what, I'll take this person. I'll take this Survivor winner. Like, let's go. Pick me, upgrade me and my partner. So that very quiet in the background strategy, huge moment for him. And I will go ahead and say I'm going to give him the award for that best strategy. With everyone else, they made good picks. The vets sticking together, that's great. Kyle being the host, but that really subtle move by Devin, definitely the best strategic moment of the episode. Then let's go negative. Let's talk worst strategy. 3 nominees here. The first, the obvious one, is Michaela. Don't make a list of people you want to eliminate on the first day. Come on, that's just that's just 101. Probably don't make that list anytime during the season, but certainly not on the first day. Maybe later in the season if you've got a very strong alliance and you in that alliance that's running the thing, wants to say what order do we want to pick people off. That's one thing. But first day, making that list without a big alliance, without a lot of friends, being the new person, bad move. And then compounding it, don't lie about the list. Don't come down with a third of a piece of paper with a couple names on it and be like, this is the whole list, I swear, like this is it. Don't. Just don't. Bad strategy from the whole way, and it led to Michaela exiting. Second nominee for bad strategy, Anissa, who had a good episode all around. She gave the toast. That was amazing, stepping in as the new toast giver on the first night. She wins the first daily, as we talked about. She's clearly one of the leaders of the Veteran Alliance. Everyone likes her. Everyone's looking up to her. All that great, but what in the hell is she doing putting Corey L into the elimination? They get there. Her and Logan are part of the agency. And initially, what her desire is, Emmy was the one that called out Michaela. I want to put Emmy in versus her to take her out. And, I like Corey, but he's Emmy's partner. So that's what we're going to do. But then when they find out, we get to pick individuals, not teams. For some reason, she still picks Corey L. And he goes in for no reason at all, which Corey and Anissa wrote in together. He was, befriended her. She talked in the pre-shows how she loves having, the LGBTQ representation on the show. They seem to had been off to a good friendship to start, and picking him. One, he was gonna win. He's huge again. He's proved himself physically very easily in the elimination, so he's a threat. He's a new person that you claim to like, and from the U.S. could have, brought in as one of the rookies that would have maybe been easily gettable for the Veteran Alliance. So no reason to pick this guy. And now you've got, a threat in the game that's targeting you coming back in. So bad move by Anissa, because then it compounds it by they don't even pick Emmy. They don't pick his partner. They pick Michelle instead. So he's just in there for no reason. So bad strategic move there by Anissa. And then the third one is also Emmy. I know her strategy worked. I know her spying worked. It was flawless. She did a great job, as she tells herself at the end. Good job, Emmy. You did it. Loved that. But it's really bold to come into the game and say day one, hey, I'm here for drama. I'm here to wreck some stuff. I'm picking an enemy day one and saying, I want that person. I'm going to get him out. I'm going to do everything I can and then be happy about doing it. It feels like Emmy's about to just be like, all right, you're next, and she's just going to go. She's going to be a big part of the storyline. But strategically, as a rookie, while it worked on the first time, if this is your move, is every episode, every round through a daily and an elimination, you're going to be like, I want to be the one making the decisions. I want to be the one picking who's going home. Long term, that's not a great strategy. Short term, it worked great. It was awesome. But long term, not the great strategy. So for the worst strategy, Michaela, Anissa, Emmy are 3 nominees. And even though Michaela went off the show, that's rough enough. I'm giving this award to Anissa because I just I don't understand it. I don't understand how someone played the game that long, so smart. She's always played so smart. She's got a political savvy game. Why they went with Corey, it didn't make any sense to me. That's the worst strategy I saw on this episode. Then we go to best quote. Let's give out the best quote. We've got 4 nominees. We're going to hear all of them. The first one, Esther, thrilled about her partner choice in Fessy early on, but then as Fessy gets caught up in the Nelson drama and now he's in a romance with Amanda, Esther kind of regretting her decision after the fact. Let's hear what she had to say.
Why did I pick Messy Fessy? I don't think...
Messy Fessy. That's a great nickname. I hope that one sticks around from time to time. Then we've got Gabo, who was definitely prevalent as one of the rookies that even though he wasn't in some of the main storylines, definitely around. We talked about him earlier, kind of being a little bit creepy with Nani already, but he also is a very honest man. He comes right out and lets us know that maybe he isn't the physical threat that he looks like. Take it away, Gabo.
I don't really know about this game, alliance, friends, fake friends, enemies, challenges. I look like sporty, but I definitely have popcorn muscles, to be honest. I'm happy that Nani did 11 seasons, which is great. She has experience, and that's what I need.
I mean, you gotta love the honesty. He admits popcorn muscles, and that we appreciate that around here. We appreciate the honesty. We appreciate knowing maybe not as big of a physical threat as his stature would indicate. Then we've got Ashley, who early in the daily challenge, Huey comes up, picks her, and is talking and talking and talking. And Ashley lets it be known via interview quote that she's not here to talk. She's here to win, and has one of just an amazing quote. Take it away, Ashley.
Huey's trying to ask me where I'm from while we're in the middle of this challenge. I am from your nightmares. Pick up that sledgehammer and get to work.
He does get to work. They don't, obviously, as we talked about, don't work very well together, at least in the first daily, coming in last. But great quote there from Ashley, as always. And then the fourth and final one is Emmy, who describes her interest or non-interest or interest or whichever one it is in drama. Let's go ahead and hear her thoughts on drama.
I'm ready for some drama. I like drama. Although I'm not a drama queen, but I love drama queens. I'm a little bit extra sometimes. Yeah, a little bit salty, a little bit spicy. But I'm trying to handle myself.
So I'm going to go on a limb and say she is a drama queen. I think someone that loves drama and loves other drama queens and likes having the drama around, that's a drama queen to me, I guess. Some form of it. So those are your 4 nominees for best quote. And I've got to give it to the vet. 3 rookies coming in strong with some good quotes, some good interview clips. But Ashley with the I am from your nightmares, pick up that sledgehammer and get to work is just fantastic stuff. So Ashley gets the award for the best quote. Let's move on to then the best moment of the week. 3 nominees. The first moment of the entire show is TJ's entrance. This guy, he's always had an amazing life on this show from, first season, season 11, Gauntlet 2. He's got an awesome job. He's got a job everyone would desire, every fan of the show desires. He's done amazing with it. He's the best host on television. Give this man an Emmy. We talk about it all the time. But regardless, over the years, his job's got even cooler and even cooler. He's got more and more toys, and he's, especially in the last 3, 4, 5 seasons, really upped his level, clearly going to production and being like, yo, I don't want to just show the tank rolling up. I want to be in the tank. I want to be in the helicopter. I want to be all. He's getting to play with all the toys. And this season, he literally starts the whole show. First, he's on a fucking yacht, a huge yacht in the Croatian, off the sea in Croatia. Then he's immediately in what I don't know cars very well, but got to be multi-million-dollar sports car driving all over. Then he's on a motorcycle. He's got literally all of the toys. That long entrance of TJ opening the season, having all these toys, that was best moment nominee number 1. Then second nominee, Tori and Kells playing pool. I just loved everything about those 2 playing pool, the little banter they were having back and forth, the kind of flirting, kind of not, kind of just talking each other up as partners, calling to talking each other up as like, I'm attracted to you. The whole thing, the interviews with both of them, that whole thing, it was just cute. It was adorable. It was fun. It was great television. Loved the 2 of them playing pool. That's moment number 2 nominee. And then third and final one, not just the nominee, but also the winner, the best moment of the episode, goes to Devin, who we have a birthday party for Michelle and Logan, and in that birthday party, you need a cake. Someone's got to bring a cake out. So Devin takes it upon himself to put on his thong, put on his best blazer, and come out with the cake, present himself, take the blazer off, do a little dance, and then jump on into the pool. Everyone loved it. They ate it up. We ate it up. Devin, best moment of the episode by far, coming out in that outfit, doing his dance, presenting the cake, jumping in the pool. Awesome, awesome stuff. Which leads us finally to our MVP of the episode, the final award, the MVP. It's hard with 34 contestants on the show. I mean, the 35th, because we already had Nam left and Ed coming in. But with all those people, Anissa and Logan, they got the daily win, so that's great. Anissa, definitely got, she gave the first toast. She's at the center of a lot of the storyline. She's, the leader, one of the leaders of the vets. She's definitely a strong nominee, but because she had that horrible strategic move, at least horrible in my mind, maybe I'll be proven wrong. Easily could be. I can't say I know better how to play this game than Nisa of all people. So, but because I think that strategic move she made at the end wasn't the best one, she can't be the MVP. Corey, who was on the brunt of that bad strategic move, wins the elimination, kind of sets himself up as a threat to be reckoned with. But maybe, wasn't quite enough around the rest of the episode. Definitely a nominee, definitely got some votes for MVP, but doesn't win it. The winner is going to be the man we just briefly talked about a couple different times on a couple different awards. 2 awards already won, a third under his belt. Devin is the MVP of this episode. Now, look, he didn't win a daily, he didn't win an elimination, but he did a lot. And he's one of the faces of the show. I would say Devin, Tori, Anissa, CT, Fessy, Casey, Josh, pretty much all of the vets that they have back are kind of the faces of the show at this point. A lot of them are on their, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th straight season. But Devin is clearly, he dominated last show, Double Agents. We talked about that in the preview pod. And he's clearly dominates his first episode again. From that moment we talked about of, presenting the cake and being kind of having the big moment of the party, to joining the Big Brother Alliance, to being a part of the scheming, the vets coming together, making sure, it's known we're not voting for each other, to making that great strategy move at the end, signaling, getting himself an upgrade in partner, getting Michelle as a partner, potentially giving him a shot at being a part of both the vets and whatever rookie, whatever's left of Survivor, whatever comes up against the vets, being able to play both sides a little bit. And just all in all, the great interview quotes. He didn't come up for quote of the week, but he could have. He had a couple great interviews, dominated the episode. Devin off to another fast start in being one of the stars of this season. He is our MVP, and that is our last award. So finally, let's finish out the episode. Let's move into a quick power rankings and 1 or 2 quick predictions, and we'll get on out of here and head on to episode 2. All right, let's wrap it up with some power rankings and predictions, plus a little bonus. We got to say goodbye to our guy, Nam. But first, power rankings. So we've got all these new teams, all these new people, and then at the end of the episode, we find out that a bunch of people switch teams. Just quick note on the format. So we are just doing, it's Double Agents 2. Now, it's okay that they're calling it Spies, Lies, and Allies, but it's Double Agents 2. It's the same thing as last season with the added twist that instead of team versus team, the agency gets to pick individuals to go into the elimination, which we covered earlier, may mean bad things for the rookies, but it means a lot of teams will be switching throughout, which means the power rankings are going to probably be switching throughout episode to episode as well. So we will keep you updated on where our personal power rankings are. We're always going to do a top 5, at least for the first portion of the season, and these power rankings are a reflection of who we think will make the final. Early in the season, it's not who's going to win necessarily, but power rankings of folks that are going to make the final, that I'm most confident are going to make the final and potentially win, but more focused on just making the final for now. Later in the season, we'll kind of transition to who's going to win this thing purely. So power rankings, top of the rankings from the start, it's got to be CT and Berna. CT is going to come up in the predictions here in a moment, but reigning champ, the OG legend in the house, looking trim, looking good, laying low, classic CT from, classic second period stage CT, laying low from the start, tries to, sit back, wait for someone to come pick him, which he gets a good partner in Berna. Find out more about this, athletic background in the circus as a child. She seems like a badass. We learned in our looking her up in the preview, she's fought in past seasons of shows she's been on Survivor. She got kicked off for fighting, so her and CT, a match made in heaven in that realm, but no one talking about, her in the rookies at all yet. No one really talking about throwing CT's name in. All that talk of like, let's get the big dog out has quieted down so far this season. So CT and Berna in my top spot. Tori and Corey come in at number 2 on my power rankings. Tori and Kells would have been number 2. They were an awesome team, but she's stolen by Corey. Corey, again, I talked at length already about really showed a lot in the first episode. Physically, he looks like a dominant physical guy to be reckoned with in this show, teaming up with one of the dominant physical females in Tori, and just a great relationship of U.S. rookie with a vet, and with a vet that's kind of clearly being one of the ones whose opinion matters in that vet alliance. So Tori, Corey, number 2. Casey, Emmanuel, number 3. Had a good showing in the Daily Challenge. Emmanuel, with that dancing background, seems like he's got the athleticism to keep up with who arguably the top athletic female, Casey, in the house. So going to be able to, similar to Corey and Tori, in that vet alliance, and also one of the rookies that's a little more off to the side, a little more shifty, able to kind of go wherever they want as the alliances unfold. So I love those team at number 3. Number 4, Fessy and Esther. Fessy, 2 for 2 on finals, definitely a threat physically in the game, but partnered with Esther, who, again, I mentioned earlier, we didn't get to see a lot of other than some awesome interview clips, but just the brief glimpses we got of her in the Daily Challenge 1, looking like we're packing some muscle there, definitely bringing it. And then also, too, the thing that Fessy noted that he liked out of her and that I definitely loved, and that one, Lolo Jones would have loved if she was on this season, is that, they saw 3 teams go off in front of them. They clearly weren't going to win, but the moment they get their thing open, Esther is, boom, she's sprinting out. She's like, we're finishing strong and hard, and we're running. And that was a great sign for just how serious she's taking the competitive side. So I like that team as not making a lot of noise in this first episode, but Fessy and Esther, Messy Festy and Esther, if you will, coming in at 4, and then tied for 5th. I know I said 5 only, but we'll do 6. Tied for 5th, Big T and Tommy, and Devin and Michelle. Both Big T and Devin, I think, as the vets, are going to do a lot as far as politically and socially in this game, being tied to then those 2 remaining U.S. Survivor players, Tommy and Michelle, with their pedigrees. And even though, things didn't go great for the Survivor folks on this first episode, I do think those 2 are going to be around for a while. Tommy and Michelle both, we know they have the political and the social, at least did on Survivor. If that can translate, or if everyone, is so against them, it can't. But they both physically seem like they've got it as well. So I like both those teams having a savvy vet with a good Survivor U.S. rookie. So Big T and Tommy, Devin and Michelle tied for my 5th place spot. That's our power rankings. We'll see if CT and Berna can hold down that top spot for weeks to come. As for predictions, I have 3 predictions for you. And again, I will try to say this as often as I can, but there are no spoilers here. I do not check any of the spoiler sites. I try to avoid all that stuff as much as I possibly can, and I usually do a very good job of doing it. So these predictions are always going to be just purely mine. I've watched the episode. I don't know anything that you don't know. Just me making some predictions. I've got 3 of them for you. First one, Tori is going to have, at minimum, 5 partners this season. She is going to be somewhat of the Corey of last season, although Corey last season his partners kept getting sent home. I think Tori this season is going to be the one that, at almost every episode, potentially, whoever wins the elimination is be like, I want her. I want her as my partner. She's got this big alliance. She's really good physically. She's, fun and good socially. So I want her. I envision her being, whether it's Kells repeatedly going in there and be like, I want my partner back, and getting her back, Corey doing the same thing, or some of the vets being, wanting, I really, I guess we'll just add it to this. In the next week on, or this season on, we get a moment where Tori and CT are off to the side talking, and CT's like growling almost at her, but like maniacally, not sexually in any way, but like they got some big master plan. So I feel like a CT Tori shoe-in to win if those 2 could get partnered up and make it to a final. But I think Tori is going to have at least 5 partners, maybe more. Second prediction, Fessy will be the first vet the rookies target. When the rookies decide, I'm sure they're going to get their act together, probably next episode even, and say, like, all right, it's vets versus rookies. Who we going for? Who we voting for? I feel like Fessy's going to be the one that they're like, he seems to have some fractures within the team. He's a big dog. He's a big guy. Let's get that big dog out. I think he's going to be their first target. And then my third and final prediction, I said it coming into the season, and I am not wavering. CT is going to be your back-to-back champion. CT is going to win Spies, Lies, and Allies. I'd put a lot of money on this, frankly. I feel good about this prediction. Is it that ballsy of a choice? There's still 32 of them in the game. So in that respect, yes, to just claim I know who's going to be one of probably the 2 winners of the season. But he's going to win. I just think he's going to win. So that's my prediction. CT's going to win. Now, that would be the end of the episode, but very quickly, we've got to say goodbye to Nam. If you guys listened to the preview show, if you saw my preview posts about him, I love Nam. I am so sad that for the second season in a row, he just gets horrible luck. Last season, having the tumultuous partnership with Lolo that kind of broke him down a little bit mentally, and then going out with the horrible back injury. So excited that they brought him back this season. He was going to get to shine. He was going to get a new partner. He's going to, and he got a great partner in Michelle, and then he just kind of mysteriously disappears after the daily challenge. He's not back in the house. He's not in the deliberation. He's not at the final or the elimination. And TJ announces that, Nam has been removed from the game. They don't say it in it, but we assume in trying to check some of those spoilery type areas without actually seeing much, we pretty much know that Nam, tested positive for COVID or maybe contact tracing or something, but COVID related potentially was pulled from the house. And so Nam's out, and gosh, it's just such a bummer. I mean, he's so awesome. He had great moments just in that first preview show. So here's to hoping that Nam can be brought back and given a true chance, can get some good luck next time around. But MTV, if you're listening, Buena Murray, casting, whoever does the casting, you do an awesome job. Keep doing an awesome job. Bring Nam back. Give this guy another chance. He's amazing. Everyone loves him. I love him. I think any fans out there love this guy. And it's so sad that we're already seeing someone get pulled for the COVID. It is bound to happen as their, second straight, almost third straight, really, season dealing with the COVID stuff. So super bummer. You don't want it to happen to anyone. You really don't want it to happen to Nam. So pouring one out for you, buddy. We love you. We love Nam. We want him back. Please bring him back. And while we say goodbye to Nam, we will also quickly, because we didn't get to cover him in the previews of the show, say hello to Ed. Ed is here. Ed, if you have never seen him or had no idea who that was running onto the screen at the end of the episode, Ed is from the Netflix show The Circle from season 1, which is thankfully another show I've actually watched, and I'm actually a fan of Ed. Ed's hilarious. On The Circle, if you don't know, they're all trapped in little apartments. It's a purely played through social media game where they only talk and communicate with each other through pictures and posts and texts basically on their TVs while they're all in apartments next to each other. Ed played the game with his mom there, which was hilarious. And then his brother Mitchell was actually on season 2 of the show. Ed's hilarious. He's a great time. And he's also, he was athletic and in good shape when he was on The Circle. There was no physical element to that show, but he usually walk around in a cutoff or shirtless a lot. And you could tell, built guy, but coming in here with the flow, with the hair, and built. Dude's been hitting the weights for sure. He's filling out that Under Armour gear big time. So Ed's going to be a great time. If you haven't seen that show, if you don't know anything about him, I promise you he's going to be entertaining on this show. And it looks like he's also going to be a physical threat. So love having Ed in. Horrible, though, that it has to come at Nam's expense. So goodbye to Nam. Hello to Ed. And with that, that is all for the show. We know it went a little longer than it was supposed to, but it's the first episode. It's really, we're really covering 2 episodes at once here. So I'm sure, you can bear with me on that. I hope you understand. We will do our best to get these down to 45 minutes in the future. That's the goal. 45-minute episode, half the length of the actual episode. That seems about right. Moving forward, remember, follow or subscribe this podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, hit that follow. If you're on Apple Podcasts, hit that subscribe. Wherever you're listening, make sure you follow, subscribe so you don't miss the next episodes as they drop. To recap, we are going to be back next Tuesday evening range, afternoon, evening, to cover anything that happened on the Aftermath show or anywhere else in the challenge world, any clips they put out, any news that is spilled on social media, anything like that, anything non-spoiler related, anything that's just content from the show that you may have missed because they're putting it out all over the place at this point. We're going to cover that on Tuesday, get you prepared back into the new show on Wednesday night. So Tuesday, about a 5-minute or so micro pod, just get you caught up if you've missed anything elsewhere in the challenge world, refreshed, ready to go for the next episode. And then next Wednesday night, Thursday morning, this recap will be in your feed. Recap in episode 2, first thing Thursday morning. Moving forward, it'll always be in there. We're going to film it Wednesday night. It'll be in first thing Thursday morning, so you're ready. The morning after the show, you can listen to the episode listen to the recap. So Tuesday afternoon, first thing Thursday morning, if not late Wednesday night, you're going to see these episodes pop up. Make sure you're following so that you get them. If you want more challenge content, if that's not enough, be sure to follow our Instagram, Challenge Historian, @Challenge Historian, or also subscribe to our YouTube page, also called Challenge Historian, where we're going to start posting a lot of new content. We will, there'll be some clips from this pod, but there'll also be brand new clips, highly edited, more kind of clips from the show, breaking down certain things, looking at some historical stuff, looking at past seasons, all kinds of challenge goodness and content coming at you on that Instagram, and also now very soon on that YouTube page. So @Challenge Historian, give us a follow there if you want more. And with that, thank you all so much for joining us this week. It's going to be an amazing season of Spies, Lies, and Allies. We are so excited. It's off to an amazing start. I am your Challenge Historian, Jacob Hollabaugh, signing off for now. Peace.